When you have somebody that's in the medical model actually looking at a patient with an x-ray who's got all this degeneration, they always say what? Well, it's just because you got what? You got old. It's just the natural process of aging. But if that's the case, then why is it there's 70, 80, 90, 100-year-olds without any degeneration at all that have a curve in their neck?
If I, at almost 64, feel like I'm, in my mid-40s at best and can perform at a high level in pretty much anything and everything that I do, I start telling people, they say, oh, you look good for almost 64. I said, guess what? That's what almost 64 is supposed to look like. This is the normal. What we see in people that haven't lived that level of lifestyle, they look so much older than their age. And so the people in the general public have now assumed that a 65-year-old is supposed to look old, when in fact, they're supposed to look like they're 65 and still vibrant, not look like they're 95. One of my colleagues adopted this byline called the 100-year lifestyle. What decisions would you make today if you knew you were going to live to be 100?
It is not old's fault. Stop blaming old for the challenges that you may be having. It's so funny, we see people all the time in our practice where you'll see a 30-year-old that says, oh, I'm so old. And you'll see an 80-year-old who's like, man, I feel great. It has nothing to do with age. It has to do with your choices, your responsibility, how you take care of yourself. Are you sitting on the couch 24/7 playing games? Or you're up moving around? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you getting adjusted? Are you adjusting your lifestyle? This is so important if you want to not be at risk for yourself. And listen, there's a lot of parents who are raising neurologically damaged kids who are becoming, the parents are becoming neurologically damaged. Well, who's going to take care of you if you're raising neurologically damaged kids? It's a longevity crisis that we have in this country.
When I was in school, we were taught the brain is the brain is the brain. So the brain, pretty much by the time you're 6 years old, is done growing, no more new neurons, and you start losing cells and losing until you die. And neuroplasticity has come up in the last 20 years or so to say that the brain is constantly regrowing new areas, especially certain areas. I like talking about it like a traffic jam. So if there's a traffic jam somewhere in the brain or the spine or nerve system, now instead of the information just going up into that particular area and then being shuttled to whatever area it has to go, it has to take a different route. And the more circuitous that route, then the more processing problem the child has. So if we can teach these kids through chiropractic, through functional neurology, and through a better diet, we can allow their nervous system to work better. It's kind of like we clear the traffic jam.
You may think you're too old to change. You may think that your kids have too many habits and they can't change. That's not true. It doesn't matter how you got here if you're willing to change and find new healthcare leadership with many of the doctors and the providers, the chiropractors that are behind this cause.